You know, after Christmas, everybody starts thinking about New Year's, of course, and that's what we're thinking about right now. And what's the biggest thing that everybody thinks about in New Year's? Well, it's health, and especially weight loss. 33%, one-third of American adults are not just overweight, they're obese. One-third, again, the same number, 33% of our children are not just overweight, they are obese. Now, conventional medicine, medical doctors and nutritionists and all these exercise people have their heads up their backsides because they think that people are fat and overweight because they're lazy. Or the medical doctors think it's because you have a stomach, or your stomach's too big, or you're lazy, or you're depressed, or you're just not exercising enough, when all of these things are incorrect. This is why we have such an unbelievably large epidemic of weight gain in this country, and that time the pun was intended. The reason that people are gaining more and more weight, even though there are more and more gyms now, and people are working out more and more, and there are more and more doctors, and now everybody has access to medical providers because the government made it mandatory now for everybody to have medical insurance, right? And the Food and Drug Administration, or the American Medical Association, or whoever does this, I forget, just designated obesity as a disease. Weight gain as a disease. So now your insurance will be able to pay for it, which is going to be a gigantic cash cow for the incompetent, Machiavellian, mudslinging MDs. They are going to take you to the cleaners by delivering substandard, ineffective, temporary treatments for weight gain. Because just like the astronomer that didn't know that the Earth rotates on its axis, they're missing a data point. And missing one data point makes all of the difference. All of the difference in the world. One piece of information makes all of the difference. We have the solution to weight loss that not even Oprah knows. We have the solution to weight loss that not even Oprah knows. And it's available on one of my DVDs. It's called Healthy Weight Loss. I mean, we have it dialed in. We know how to help people lose weight. We know the real deal. We're the only ones in the world that do. So, this is the perfect time to grow your longevity business and to make a real difference in the world, because 1/3 of the North Americans' population, I don't know what the statistics are like in Canada, but I've been to Canada, and it's very similar to the United States as far as the amount of people who are overweight. It's very similar in the U.S. I think the U.S. has the Canadians edged by a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, it's a gigantic market. Again, the pun was intended. You could have a multi-million-dollar longevity business, just by helping people to have healthy body weights, to achieve and maintain a normal healthy body weight, because we know how to do it. And today, Boxing Day sale, you can get my DVDs on sale. Get all 7 of them on sale. All 7 DVDs. Save 40% today. It's over $60 in savings if you buy the DVD set today. Grow your longevity business, especially moving forward into the New Year's, when everybody and their brother is making, this is going to be the year that I lose weight. Well, no, it's not. You're going to lose it, but you're going to gain it right back, and then you're going to get frustrated, and then you're going to let the medical doctor give you antidepressants and cut your stomach out because you got to do something, and you've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. You're trusting the wrong medical professionals. You're putting all of your eggs in the wrong basket, but you don't know any better because the MDs have made it that way. They've gone out of the way to monopolize the medical market. You can't even pronounce naturopath, let alone know what it is. Nobody knows what a naturopathic physician is. Very few people do. Everybody needs to know the skill set that we bring to the table, and this is why we exist as a network marketing company. To spread through a grassroots coalition Dr. Wallach's message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. You want to make a difference in your pocketbook? Want to make a difference in the health of total strangers? Want to pay it forward in 2014 and then have the dividends roll around on your behalf, in your behalf? Become a Longevity member. Help people to gain and then maintain a healthy body weight by using our methods of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Check it out. The DVD's on sale today, the 7-box set. Last day, folks. FireYourMDNow.com. It's right there on the front page. Check it out. Let's go to South Carolina now and see what Dennis is up to. Hey, Dennis, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hello, Dr. Glidden. How you doing?
Pretty good, Dennis. What's going on in South Carolina? It's snowing up here in Chicago. How is it down there?
Well, it's pretty cold, but it's not snowing.
Are you in the middle? Are you on the western part of the state, the eastern part of the state? Where are you?
I'm kind of in the middle.
Yeah. And typically, you don't get any snow down there in the wintertime, do you?
No, sir. Just maybe one day, and it'll melt the next day.
Yeah, it's a pretty part of the country. I really like it down there, but I honestly don't know how you can handle it in the summer. I mean, I guess thank God for air conditioning, right?
Yes, sir. It gets mighty hot.
So, hey, Dennis, thanks for the phone call. How can I help?
First, let me tell you what has happened to me and my wife since we've been on Longevity, and then I have a request for a young lady who's suffering with candida.
Okay.
All right. About 3 months ago, I had arthritis real bad in my arm and in my hand. It had been plaguing me for about 8 months. And I've had hemorrhoids, I guess, for nearly 25 years and went to doctors and things and never could get them healed. They'd give you suppositories, all kinds of stuff. And then I had my arms had broke out pretty bad, real bad for the last, 5 or 6 years. It's been pretty bad. And I just always wore long sleeve shirts. And my wife, she had a heel spur come up on her and had gotten to the place where she couldn't walk on it. And she got where it just make her cry almost to get on it. Plus she had what the ladies go through, menopause for the last 6 years, and pretty tough to live with because of the mood swings and all the things. But we got a hold of the CD and listened to it and just knew inside that it was going to work for us. I mean, as soon as we heard Dr. Wallach, we knew it was going to work. So we ordered it, and we joined the business and all. And the next thing I know, within about, I guess, since we've been on it 3 months, I guess in the first 2 months, my arthritis completely left me, and it's all gone. Also, my hemorrhoids drawed up to about nothing. They just about completely gone. And my arms cleared up as good as they're just awesome. My arms look so good. Plus, I dropped about 26 or 27 pounds.
Now, were you trying to lose weight, or did that just come along for the ride?
That was a gift. It came along for the ride. I wasn't going for the weight. I was going for the arthritis mostly.
Yeah, you gotta love it, right?
I didn't even think about the other two problems I was having, that they cleared up too.
Right, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, and then my wife, within about, I guess, 8 to 9 weeks, it left her everything she had with what the ladies go through with menopause, and also her heel spur got so much better that she's back working with me down here, and also it barely ever even acts up. She works about 12 hours a day when she does work, so she stands up most of the time. I'm really thankful for that thing turning around. But she dropped a lot of weight, too.
How much?
She's probably down about 25 pounds.
And a heel spur that was so painful she couldn't even stand on it, or when she did, it practically brought her to tears. Now it's gone so much that she can stand on her feet for 12 hours a day. She's back in the workforce, and life is good. Now, can you imagine? Well, I just want you to project into the future, a year from now, what state of health you guys would be in had you not listened to Dr. Wallach's CD. because things wouldn't have gotten better, things wouldn't have turned around, things would have, in fact, gotten worse. You could have expected more of the same. Imagine what your life would be like a year from now had someone not turned you on to longevity. I mean, that just sends chills up and down my spine.
I feel like I'm 30 years old again, Doc. I'm 55, but I feel like I'm 30 again. And I can work these 12 hours just like I used to.
Now, how was it that you first, who turned you on to the CD? How'd you hear about it, and what was your first blush exposure to longevity? How did that happen?
Well, we actually have a friend that's out in Oregon. He was telling us about, he had been on the product for about a year and what all it had done for him. And he never even asked us to join or anything. We just got a hold of the CD and listened to it and knew it. Man, we got all excited about it. And, of course, it's so easy, especially when you get off the gluten and all, you know. I mean, I feel so good. It's just amazing.
I know, it is amazing, man. And this is, I don't know if you're a religious person at all, but, you know, this is the way that it's supposed to be. I mean, this is the way that it's supposed to be. Life is hard enough, man. You know, we have emotional stress, we've got environmental stress, we've got political stress. There's all kinds of stress, stuff that's in our life that we don't have any control over. You can't control what the president's going to do. You can't control what the people in Iraq are going to do. You can't control what the Chinese government's going to do, right? You can't control that. Can't control what the weather's going to do. There's all this stuff, man, that we have to deal with. The last thing we need is for the vehicles that we're driving around in the human body. The last thing that we need is for the human bodies to be breaking down. And the only reason that they do break down, most of the time, there are exceptions that prove the rule, but most of the time, the reason that people suffer is because of lack of knowledge. Their medical doctors do not know what's best for them. They only know what they've been trained in. And what they've been trained in does not cut the mustard for most of the conditions that bother most of the people most of the time. Thank God for Dr. Wallach, and long live longevity. Stick with me, Dennis. We'll come back and sort out your friend after these messages.
Thank you, sir.
Happy day after Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, December 26, 2013. Talking to Dennis from South Carolina. This was a good Christmas present, Dennis. I'm glad that you called unexpectedly with these testimonials. By the way, folks, we don't screen the calls here at all. Zero screening. I know who the callers are, and I have they put a little note up on the board about what they want to talk about, but I don't know what people are going to tell me. The only people really that I have any idea at all of what we're going to talk about are guests, right? You know, like I know what I'm going to talk about with the commander. I know what we're going to talk about when we have luminaries from the holistic medical world on. I know what we're going to talk about when we have political people, legal people like Jonathan Emord on. But when just normal callers call in, longevity or otherwise, it's completely blind on my end, and it's really a very rewarding position to be in, especially when you hear people of their own free will telling the truth about their experience with what we're doing, and this is what drives the entire movement forward. The only thing that you need to do to have a successful longevity business is be able to point. That's all you need to do, and to be willing to tell the truth. Look, I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer with that. If I send you a link to this webinar, will you watch it? If I lend you this CD, will you listen to it? If I loan you this DVD, will you watch it? That's all that you have to do over and over and over and over and over and over again, and then lean on your organization for support. It's as simple as that. It's a wonderful group of people to be associated with. It's a wonderful business model. And if you apply yourselves to longevity, even part-time, 20 hours a week, the financial rewards that you will reap will be greater than your greatest dreams. There are few things in the world greater than compound interest. It was Benjamin Franklin that said that, right? Few things in the world greater then compound interest. Well, guess what? A longevity business is one of them. All right, Dennis, you still with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so how can I help you? I think you had a question in here about Candida, maybe?
Yes, sir. I have a young lady that's a good friend that she's suffering with Candida. She went to the doctor. She's got it in about 3 or 4 areas of her body. She also has stomach issues, reflux, and inflamed stomach. She weighs about 140 pounds. She's very athletic, and she doesn't have celiac disease. They test her for that.
Okay, well, celiac disease, in the wonderful world of diagnostic discovery, right, laboratory testing, whatever they do, whether it's blood work or whether it's X-ray or CT or stool analysis or urinalysis, doesn't matter. A laboratory diagnostic technique, every single solitary one of them have something called sensitivity and specificity, which is the degree of false negatives or false positives that the test is going to generate or that the test is going to miss, right? So which is, fancy schmancy doctor talk for how accurate is the test. I mean, it's either an accurate test or it's not an accurate test, and the testing for celiac disease is not an accurate test. The testing for celiac disease that the MDs are rolling out now is not an accurate test. So it's entirely possible that she has a problem with wheat, barley, ryeose, but she tested negative on the test. So from our point of view, where there's smoke, there's fire, and all things being equal, we first help the digestive tract. We help the digestive tract, especially when one of the symptoms of the chief complaint is an organ in the digestive tract, like it is with her with the stomach. So, I don't care what the MD said. That's why we name our radio show Fire Your MD. The only time I care about what the MD says is when I'm bleeding, right? When I've got like a gushing artery or there's a bullet in my arm, heaven forbid, or something like that, right? Because that's their domain. And they can help you with that. Thank God for Novocaine. Thank God for the sterile technique. But for everything else, you should not regard what they say as worthwhile. Now, maybe it wasn't an MD that said this. Maybe it was a chiropractor or whatever. I don't know. But my point is, when the game is afoot with your digestive tract, everybody, I don't care what the testing says, must eliminate wheat, barley, rye, and oats. They got to do it. In addition to that, the 10 bad foods. Now, the second step, of course, because remember, this isn't rocket science, right? It's a digestive issue, so we do a healthy digestive pack. So we start with the healthy digestion pack. And because of the Candida issue, we want to give the body blood sugar support, because if there's too much sugar in the blood, it feeds the Candida. So the recommendation at 150 pounds would be 1 healthy digestion pack, 2 bottles of selenium, 3 bottles of selenium, 2 bottles of sweeties. 2 sweeties, 3 selenium, 1 healthy digestion pack. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Boom. Here we come. Longevity Nation to the rescue. 866-582-9933. If you're listening to the podcast and would like information, 855-347-3696. The podcast number, 855-347-3696. Let's go over to my current stomping grounds, Illinois, and talk to Rich. Hey, Rich, thanks for calling. You are live.
Hi, I have a question about, let me see if I can pronounce this, necrobiosis lipodica diverticulitis. It's something that somebody asked me about, that they were going, a current case at Northwestern here.
Yeah, okay, so that means there's diverticuli in the colon. Now, the colon, of course, is the last part of the digestive tract. It's also referred to as the large intestine. The terminal end of the colon is the rectum, right? That's where all of everything your body's trying to get rid of comes out of. Inside the colon it should be just a smooth wall, but if you're eating all the wrong food all the time, and if your body doesn't have the nutrition that it needs, and if the bacterial composition of your small intestine and your large intestine is distorted because of antibiotic prescriptive use, then the walls of the large intestine are going to begin to become compromised, and they develop little sores on them, or more appropriately, little kind of like polyps, right? Little polyps. As the walls of the colon protrude out. You get little bumps on the walls of the colon that pop out, and these are called diverticuli, and they shouldn't be there. And it's kind of like a skin tag on your skin, except it's in the colon. And when the diverticuli become infected by whatever, and there's a million things, billions of things that can infect them, then they start to decay and decompose, and when they get really bad, it's called necrosis, which is fancy schmancy doctor talk for dead tissue. So this person has diverticuli, little like skin tags, inside the colon, which have decayed, and they're dead, and it's diseased, dead, nasty tissue inside the colon, and they don't know what the freak to do about it at Northwestern or anywhere else in the world, because they've lost the single fundamental data point of medical nutrition. They don't understand that the human body knows how to fix itself, that the human body wants to fix itself, and that there are major primary negative effects from lack of nutrition and consistent consumption of all the wrong food. They don't get it. They don't believe it. They don't see it. It's in front of their faces, and they miss it. They think it's a genetic thing, right? That, the reason that you have heartburn is because you have stomach acid. So let's give you a proton pump inhibitor to completely eliminate all stomach acid anywhere in your body. That's what we need to do. You have lung cancer because you have a lung. Well, let's cut the lung out. That's what we need to do. You have diverticulosis in your colon. Well, let's cut out the colon, right? And this is what they're going to do if they haven't already done it. But it's a stopgap at best, because just like painting over the mold in the basement doesn't get rid of the source of the mold, and it's only a matter of time until there's more mold. If you just do a surgical intervention here, it's not going to get rid of the source of the problem, the cause of the problem. And remember, our MD friends are not trained to be concerned with the cause of the problem from a chronic disease point of view. They can tell you what the cause of the problem is from an acute point of view. There's a bacterial infection in the lung. That's what gave you pneumonia, and they can tell you what strain of bacteria it is. Or they can tell you that, the wall of a certain blood vessel burst, and that's why you have internal bleeding, right? They can tell you that when it comes to acute stuff. But with chronic stuff, they're clueless, completely clueless about it. Now, whenever we talk about people in Illinois, I get a little nervous, because the Illinois Department of Professional Regulation sued me for $5,000 because I used the word doctor on my website a couple of years ago when I had a small health consultation practice here in Illinois. I no longer have a health consultation practice here in Illinois. I'm licensed to practice medicine in the next closest state, which licenses and regulates naturopathic medicine, Minnesota. So, and remember, right, what we do on this radio show, what we do in longevity, is we don't treat disease. We recommend protocols that people can use, which have been developed by physicians, delivered by physicians who are licensed and regulated. And the intention of our therapeutics, the intention of our programs, the intention of our protocols are to support and promote the body's inherent ability to recover its health. So, when we see a problem in the digestive tract of this nature, then a really good place to start to support and promote the structure and function of the gut would be 1 healthy digestion pack and 2 bottles of selenium and 2 bottles of Mackey Plus. 1 healthy start pack, 2 selenium, 2 Mackey Plus per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Okay, so that's 1 healthy digestion pack, 2 selenium, 2 Mackey Plus, that's MAQUI plus, per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Whenever we see an infection present, we support the health and the function of the immune system, and we do that with an herbal product called Killer Biotic. In the face of a fulminant infection, a big bad voodoo daddy infection that's present right now, the recommendation would be 1 bottle of Killer Biotic per 50 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of Killer Biotic per 50 pounds of body weight per month. It's never, ever a bad idea. As a matter of fact, it's mandatory, Rich, and if you've been listening to our program long enough, you know this, that whenever anybody has anything of a chronic nature, we recommend they stop eating the 10 bad foods, and especially if there's a problem with the gut. So this person's got to clean up their diet, stop eating the 10 bad foods, and get on board with those nutritional supplements as fast as is humanly possible. However, if they're currently hospitalized, they're out of luck, because the hospital will not allow nutritional supplements to be taken by their patients in their hospital. They won't allow it. They can't do it. Now, there should be a law against that, but there isn't. So the only time that we're going to be able to intervene here is if the person, is an outpatient, if they've kind of thrown their hands up and they've released the patient and they're kind of on their own and they're wondering what to do. But this is the first, second, and third thing to do. Digestion Pack, Selenium, Mackey Plus, Killer Biotic. Life is good, especially when
you've got a second.
Yeah, I do. You've got all the time in the world.
I have. It's kind of funny how when you explain that, the pictures even that I was sent in regards to this were things more along the lines of extremely bad varicose veins in the upper thigh, and some almost like flesh-eating type, like skin rashes on the leg. It's with further explanation of the issues. I kind of expected after listening to you guys that it was going to be a digestional issue right from just the symptoms that they started throwing out. And then, with a little bit more explanation of what NLD would be, it makes me scratch my head a little bit on where they're, how they're so clueless. It's difficult to swallow sometimes.
Well, I know.
And why, but it makes you scratch your head and figure, like, why is it so difficult to come to such a conclusion?
I know, and it's often a life-changing, mind-opening moment when you finally get it. You finally get it that the MD, bless their hearts, it might be the nicest person in the world, but they're like a colorblind art critic who doesn't know that they're colorblind, right? Mm-hmm. And that's how they are. And it's not really through any fault of their own, and it's not a criticism, it's just an observation. Well, it is a criticism from my point of view, but it's also just an objective observation. It's like, well, that's how it is. And we've been so culturally conditioned to genuflect at the altar of the MD that it's really kind of it's a bitter pill for most people to swallow, to understand that the MD just doesn't get it. That they just don't get it, that they don't get it. They're clueless about it, and they are, in fact, not the first person to go to, not the second person or the third person or the fourth person to go to with a chronic health condition. They're the last person to go to for a chronic health condition, because their lack of perspective into the bargain here makes them the most dangerous people on the planet. Dr. Oz is more dangerous than Saddam Hussein. Dr. Oz is more dangerous than Osama bin Laden. Dr. Oz is the most dangerous person on the planet right now, because every time he gets on TV, he perpetuates the false notion that the MDs know what's best for us, and he props the MDs up, and millions and millions and millions of people get in line to go to the MD, even though their therapeutics are the leading cause of death in the United States. It's an unbelievable psychological, intellectual disconnect that we've got going on here. Now, right, all things being equal, if there's a skin component of this, right, if there's something going on with the skin into the bargain, well, to support and promote the structure and function of the skin, selenium is a really good idea. We've already got that base covered, so the next thing to do would be just to do more sulfur-bearing molecules and glucogel. So to the program that I just outlined, if the skin...
What would you think about some colloidal silver topically?
That's always a great idea when you're dealing with a topical infection that you can touch, right? And they're using colloidal silver actually in the more progressive burn units around the country. They're soaking sterile sheets with colloidal silver and putting it right on the top of 5th-degree burns. I mean, stuff that's just nasty. And it completely prevents secondary infections from propping up, which is a big deal with burn victims. So, yeah, man, anytime there's a topical infection, something you can touch, then spray the heck out of it with colloidal silver. And it's impossible to overdose with that. It is impossible to overdose topically with that. Just keep spraying the crap out of it. At night before bed, soak a sterile gauze bandage with the colloidal silver and tape it right over the infection. You should see traction with the infection within 5 days of a topical colloidal silver application.
Great.
Rich, you're the man. Keep up the good work. Keep the home fires burning here in Illinois. Remember, you, not the MD, you are the last best hope your community, family, and friends have to live a long, healthy, and wealthy life. Keep up the good work, brother. Appreciate it. From Illinois to Wisconsin, hey, Sherry Bob is back. We're going to talk about cancer. I don't think I'm going to like this. Hey, Sherry Bob.
Hi. Hey, yeah, we're going to talk about cancer. But first I'd like to say a testimonial that I just thought of because of this last call you had on colloidal silver. Actually, I had called the commander at home, and my husband, he has the whole diverticulitis thing and been constipated basically for years. But he recently ended up having emergency surgery because in his rectum, one of the glands really low had gotten infected, and he couldn't do nothing. He couldn't pass anything. So he had emergency surgery. Anyhow, so he had this hole, and this hole has to be packed, which I'm sure you realize you have to pack the hole so it heals from the inside to the outside. Right. And we were about 3 weeks into it, and it's starting to leak from the inside, and it didn't smell too good. So I called Mark, and Mark says, put colloidal silver on the sponge, pack it with that sponge. And sure enough, I'll tell you, it started healing up, the smell went away, and it's almost completely healed now.
I love my job. Stick around, we're up against a hard break. We'll pick you up on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Live chat tonight for Dr. Glidden Insiders, 8 p.m. Central Time. Dr. Glidden Insiders and their guests only. Check it out, fireyourmdnow.com. Knowledge is power. And we are the purveyors of all things holistic. Well, not of all things holistic, but of some very, very fundamentally important things holistic that everybody in your sphere needs to know. Let's finish out today's show with Sherry Bob from Wisconsin, I think, or what? Where the heck are you calling from, Sherry Bob?
Oh, no. Yes, Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
No, Milwaukee. Very, very good. Now, Milwaukee, that's an Indian name. What does that mean? Do you know?
No.
I used to know what that meant. Because I grew up on an island called Nantucket, and that's an Indian name. It actually means far away land. I don't know why I'm into the Native American theme right now, but I am. All right, so I guess what I'm trying to do is delay your asking me a question about cancer. So I guess I'm up against it. So how can I help you?
Yes, I know somebody that has stage 4 liver cancer, which he's been fighting for about 2 years. The meds just recently stopped working. They're not sure what they're going to do next, and surgery is not an option.
Well, I have him demand a refund from his medical insurance provider because he paid medical insurance premiums his entire life to gain access to conventional medicine so that it wouldn't break his bank when he came up against a hard problem like this. He has come up against a hard problem like this, and they failed him. So they haven't delivered. It's a bait and switch. It's a bait and switch operation, and that's illegal. Every medical insurance provider in the world does this. It's bait and switch. They say, they frighten you. Oh, what happens if you get cancer? What happens if you're in an automobile accident? You're going to need medical insurance. You're right. I am. And then heaven forbid, you get cancer. They got nothing for you. Zero. They've got zero for you. So not only are you out of money, but you're out of luck, and they have pulled the wool over your eyes. I would tell him to call his congressman, to call his mayor, call the governor of the state, call the president of the American Medical Association, call the president of the hospital and demand a refund because they've let him down, and they've let him down hard. It's illegal to treat cancer in the United States unless you're an oncologist. We can't even come close to that. And, stage 4, for goodness sake. If it was a perfect world, right, and they gave equal amounts of research money to the naturopaths as they did to the MDs for cancer, if they gave equal amounts of money to the homeopaths and to the acupuncturists for cancer as they do to the MDs, we'd have gained ground on getting rid of cancer. But when we give it all to the MDs, we consistently get nothing, we 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 get nothing. We get a big bill, and everybody is happy with that, apparently. Well, not so much. Not me. We don't treat cancer, but what we can do is support and promote the structure and function of the immune system here. Stage 4 liver cancer, we have to be over the top times 100. We have to really support the body's immune system to a remarkable degree. We have to pull out all the stops. Number 1, eliminate the 10 bad foods. Number 2, 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, and 2 bottles of selenium per 100 pounds per month. 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes of Triple Treat chocolate a month. 6 boxes of Triple Treat chocolate a month, and 1 bottle of Z-Radical. 1 bottle of Z-Radical a day. That's a day. A day. 1 bottle of Z-Radical a day, in order to support and promote the structure and function of the human body at this stage of the game. Remember, we don't treat cancer. We support the body's ability to optimize its function. We stop eating food that's gumming up the works. We give the body nutritional support sufficient to the cause, and we keep our fingers crossed. And in the meanwhile, we make political noise, because unless enough people start complaining, this upside-down, lopsided, monopolistic, Machiavellian situation where the MDs control everything is going to persist. Encourage this man to make it his mission to complain with a loud voice that the MDs have let him down, and they've let him down hard. Prayer is also never a bad idea when we're up against it big time like this. Sherry Bob, thanks for the call. Keep up the good work there in Milwaukee. God willing, ladies and gentlemen, back here tomorrow, live in the saddle again, December